The dragon, who could not scream. The great dragon court was built from black stone and old fire. Huge pillars touched the ceiling like claws. Flames floated in the air, moving slowly, watching everything. High above, powerful dragons sat on their thrones, their eyes cold and sharp. In the center of the court, a small dragon knelt on the stone floor. Chains wrapped around his arms and wings. They were not normal chains. They burned softly, biting into his scales. The small dragon's body shook, but he made no sound. He could not scream. Everyone in the court knew it. The mute dragon lowered his head. His horns were small and cracked. Old scars covered his body. Each scar told a story of pain, but no one cared to listen. Dragons believed that pain made one strong. Silence, to them, meant weakness. A guard stepped forward. He lifted a long fire whip. The whip glowed red, alive with heat. The sound of it cracking through the air echoed across the court. Crack! The whip struck the small dragon's back. His body jumped from the pain. His claws dug into the stone floor. His mouth opened, but no scream came out. Only silent breath and shaking fear. Laughter followed. Some dragons smiled. Some looked away, bored. Others watched closely, enjoying the moment. "This one is broken," a judge said calmly. No roar. No voice. No pride. Another dragon leaned forward. "Why does he still live?" The small dragon trembled harder. His tail curled around his legs like a frightened child. He wanted to disappear. He wanted the pain to stop. But pain was all he had ever known. The whip rose again. Crack! This time, the small dragon fell forward. His chains pulled tight. His wings twitched, trying to protect him, but it was useless. Still, no scream. Silence filled the space where a cry should have been. That silence made the court uncomfortable. "Enough," one elder dragon said, waving a claw. "He has learned nothing." The guard stepped back. The small dragon stayed on the ground. His chest moved fast as he tried to breathe. Tears burned in his eyes, but he did not let them fall. Crying only brought more punishment. Above him, the judges talked as if he was not there. "He brings shame to dragon blood. He cannot even defend himself. He should be removed." The small dragon closed his eyes. Maybe this was the end. Then, the massive doors of the dragon court opened. The sound was loud. Heavy metal scraped against stone. Flames in the air flickered, confused. Every dragon turned. A human walked in. He was small compared to the dragons. He wore simple clothes, dark and worn. His boots echoed softly on the stone floor as he walked forward. No chains, no armor, no fear. Whispers filled the court. A human. How did he enter? Why is he here? The human stopped near the center. His eyes did not look at the judges first. They looked at the small dragon on the ground. The mute dragon slowly lifted his head. He had never seen a human this close before. The human's face changed when he saw the chains, when he saw the burns, when he saw the fear. Something dark passed through the human's eyes. Anger. A judge spoke loudly. "This court is not for humans. Leave." The human did not answer. Instead, he stepped closer to the small dragon. The guards raised their weapons. "Stop," the judge warned. One more step. The human reached into his coat. Gasps filled the court. But he did not pull out a weapon. He pulled out a small metal badge. He held it up so all could see. "This," the human said calmly, "is an adoption mark." The court went silent. Even the flames froze in the air. The judge's eyes narrowed. "Explain yourself, human." The human looked down at the small dragon again. His voice was steady. "I am here to claim my son." The mute dragon froze. Son? No one had ever called him that. Laughter exploded across the court. A human raising a dragon? Impossible. Madness. The judge stood. "You cannot adopt what is broken." The human finally looked up at the thrones. "He is not broken," the human said. "He is hurt." The judge sneered. "He cannot even scream." The human stepped between the whip and the small dragon. "Then I will scream for him." The court fell completely silent. The mute dragon stared at the human's back. Strong. Still. Unmoving. For the first time in his life, someone stood in front of him, not to hurt him, but to protect him. The guards slowly lowered the whip. The elder dragons exchanged uneasy looks. Something had changed. Something dangerous. And the small dragon, the dragon who could not scream, felt something new rise in his chest. Hope. The human who did not bow. Silence filled the dragon court. Not the normal silence of fear. This was different. Heavy. Uncomfortable. The human stood between the whip and the small dragon. He did not move. He did not shake. The guard holding the whip hesitated. His claw tightened, then loosened. He had never been stopped before. "You dare block dragon justice?" a judge asked, his voice sharp like steel. The human did not turn around. His eyes stayed on the mute dragon. Slowly, the small dragon realized something strange. The pain was still there. The chains were still tight. But the fear was weaker. The judge stood up from his throne. Flames curled around his horns. "You claim this creature as your son," he said. "Do you know what he is?" "Yes," the human replied. "He is weak. Yes. He cannot roar. I know. He brings shame to dragon blood." The human finally looked up. "No," he said calmly. "You bring shame to it." Gasps exploded across the court. No one spoke to the judges like that. No one survived doing it. The guard lifted the whip again. The human raised one hand. "Wait." The word was simple, but it carried weight. The elder dragons leaned forward. "You have no power here, human," one elder said slowly. "Why are you not afraid?" The human took a breath. "Because I have seen worse than fire," he said, "and louder than roars." The court laughed again, but sounded forced. The judge pointed at the mute dragon. "That thing is a failed dragon. He was born silent." The human's jaw tightened. "He was born different," he said, "and you punished him for it." The judge slammed his claw onto the throne. "Silence is weakness." The mute dragon flinched at the shout. His body shook again. The human noticed. He did something no one expected. He knelt, right there, on the stone floor, beside the chain dragon. The court froze. Dragons did not kneel. Humans never knelt to dragons. The human spoke softly now. "So he learned silence," he said, "because every time he tried to exist, you hurt him." The small dragon stared at him. No one had ever spoken for him before. The judge's voice turned cold. "You think words can change law?" "No," the human replied. "But truth can." He reached for the chains. "Stop," the guard shouted. Flames flared. Weapons aimed at his head. "Touch those chains," the judge warned, "and you die." The human paused. Then he placed his hand on the burning chain. The smell of burned flesh filled the air. The human did not scream. His hand shook, but he held on. The court went silent again. The mute dragon's eyes widened. Why was the human hurting himself? The human pulled his hand back slowly. His skin was burned red and black, but he did not look at it. Instead, he looked at the judges. "You see," he said, "pain does not teach strength. It only teaches fear." The elder dragons shifted uncomfortably. One of them spoke, voice low. "This human knows suffering." The judge snarled. "Suffering is the path of power." The human stood up. "Then your power is built on broken children," he said. That word, children, hit harder than fire. The court erupted in shouting. "Enough!" the eldest elder roared. Silence fell again. The elder's ancient eyes fixed on the small dragon. "Mute one," he said. "Look at me." The small dragon slowly lifted his head. "Why do you not scream?" the elder asked. The dragon opened his mouth. Nothing came out, but something happened. The air around him shifted. The flames trembled. A deep pressure spread through the court, like the world holding its breath. The elder's eyes widened. "This silence," he whispered. "This is not emptiness." The judge stepped back. "What are you saying?" The elder did not answer. Instead, he looked at the human. "Human," he said slowly, "do you know what you stand beside?" The human placed a hand on the small dragon's shoulder. "I know exactly who he is," he said. The elder's voice dropped to a whisper. "Then you may have just challenged the entire dragon empire." The chains around the small dragon began to glow. Not red, not fire, something older, something deeper. The mute dragon felt it rise inside him. And for the first time, the court feared the silence that scared the elders. The glow around the chains did not fade. It grew stronger, not red like fire, not blue like magic. It was deep black, calm, and heavy like the night sky with no stars. The dragon court felt it. The flames floating in the air slowed. Some went out completely. The mute dragon's body stopped shaking. He was still chained, still hurt, but something inside him had changed. The eldest elder took a slow step back. "This is impossible," he whispered. The judges looked confused. The guards tightened their grip on their weapons. The human felt it too, a pressure in the air, like the world was listening. "What is happening?" a judge demanded. The elder did not answer him. Instead, he spoke to the human. "Remove your hand from the child," the elder said carefully. The human did not move. "I will not," he replied. A dangerous silence followed. The elder studied the human's face. No fear, no pride, only protection. "You are risking more than your life," the elder warned. "You are risking his." The human's voice was quiet but firm. "He has risked his whole life already." The small dragon looked up at the human. No one had ever chosen him like this. The elder turned to the court. "Long ago," he began, "before thrones, before laws, there was a flame older than fire." The judges froze. Some guards stepped back. "The first silence," the elder continued. The court murmured. "That is a myth," a judge snapped. "A story to scare hatchlings." The elder's eyes burned. "Myths are only forgotten truths." He pointed his claw at the mute dragon. "That child carries silence that does not break," the elder said. "Silence that survives pain." The mute dragon felt his chest tighten. Was this about him? The judge laughed nervously. "He is weak. Look at him." The elder roared. The sound shook the court. "Weak things do not survive this long." Silence returned. Heavy, crushing. The elder lowered his voice. "In ancient times," he said, "dragons born without roar were not punished." The court leaned in. "They were hidden," the elder said, "because they ended wars." The judge's face turned pale. "That is impossible." "They did not roar," the elder said. "They ended sound." The flames in the court flickered wildly. The small dragon gasped, though no sound came out. The elder stepped closer. "Every time you whipped him," the elder said, "you fed the silence." The human's hand tightened on the child's shoulder. The judge staggered back. "You lie," he shouted. "We try to fix him." "You tortured him," the elder replied. The chains pulsed again. Cracks formed in the stone floor beneath the small dragon. Guards stumbled as the ground shook. "Enough," the judge screamed. "Kill the child before it awakens." Weapons turned toward the mute dragon. The human moved instantly. He wrapped his body around child. "Touch him," the human said coldly, "and I will burn this court to ash." Laughter burst out. A human threatening dragons? The human looked up slowly. "You think humans survive the galaxy by being weak?" he asked. His eyes were not angry. They were tired. "I have buried children," he said quietly. "I will not watch another die." The elder felt something shift. "This human has faced extinction," he said softly. The judge snarled. "Then he will die here with a monster." The guard attacked. Flames roared toward the center. The human closed his eyes. The mute dragon's heart slammed at his chest. Something inside him broke. Not pain, not fear. A seal. The flames stopped. Frozen in the air. Every dragon froze. The chain shattered. The sound was silent, but absolute. The court felt it. Sound vanished. Fire vanished. Only silence remained. The elder dropped to one knee. "Old flame, preserve us," he whispered. The judge tried to scream. No sound came out. The mute dragon stood for the first time. His eyes glowed, not with fire, but with endless night. The human opened his eyes slowly. "What did you do?" he whispered. The dragon looked at his hands. He did not know, but the silence obeyed him. The elder bowed his head. "The Silence King has awakened," he said, and the entire dragon court realized. They had not punished a weak child. They had been creating their own end. The price of silence. The dragon court did not move. No fire, no sound, no breath. Silence ruled everything. The mute dragon stood in the center of the broken chains. His legs shook, but he did not fall. The black glow around him pulsed slowly, like a heart beating in the dark. Dragons tried to speak. Nothing came out. Panic spread across their faces. They were rulers of flame and roar. And now they had neither. The human stood beside the child, his arms still around him. He could feel the power in the air. It pressed against his chest, heavy and cold. This was not fire. This was control. The eldest elder slowly lifted his head. Even he struggled to move. This silence, he said quietly, his voice barely returning, is not meant to be used. The mute dragon looked at him. For the first time, someone was afraid of him. The elder continued. Every dragon who carried this power before paid a terrible price. The human turned. What price? The elder did not answer at first. The silence began to crack. Sound rushed back like a storm. Dragons gasped. Flames flared wildly, out of control. Guards fell to their knees, coughing. The judge screamed in rage. Seize the child. Now! But before anyone could move, the elder raised his claw. Enough, he commanded. The judge froze. You have already made a monster, the elder said coldly. Do not force him to become one. The mute dragon felt something wrong inside his chest. The power felt unstable, heavy, painful. The human noticed. The child's breathing was fast. His hand shook. This power is hurting him, the human said. The elder nodded slowly. Yes, silence takes more than it gives. The human knelt in front of the dragon child. Look at me, he said softly. The child's glowing eyes met his. You don't need to hold this alone, the human said. You're safe. The glow flickered. The court watched in shock. The silence obeyed the human's voice. The elder's eyes widened. This is impossible. The judge saw his chance. He stepped back quietly. Too quietly. From behind the throne, a hidden figure moved. An assassin. Fast. Silent. Covered in dark scales. A blade made from star metal flew through the air. Straight toward the mute dragon's heart. The human saw it. He did not think. He turned. The blade struck his back. Blood spilled onto the stone floor. The world seemed to stop. And oh, the mute dragon tried to scream. Nothing came out. But the silence exploded. The court shattered. Pillars cracked. Thrones broke. Dragons were thrown across the room like leaves. The assassin was crushed into the ground, unmoving. The human fell forward. The mute dragon caught him. His hands were covered in blood. Warm. Real. The human coughed, pain twisting his face. But he smiled. That was close, he whispered. The elder roared in fury. You broke sacred law. The judge screamed. He was protecting a weapon. The human looked up at the judge. A weapon, he said weakly. He's a child. The mute dragon shook harder now. The silence burned inside him. He felt something tearing. Cracks spread across his scales. Not wounds, but marks. Ancient symbols. The elder's voice dropped to fear. The price has begun. The human struggled to sit up. What price? He asked again. The elder looked at the child with sorrow. Every silence bearer loses something, he said. Voice. Memory. Life. The mute dragon's eyes widened. He clutched his head. Images flashed in his mind. Pain. Chains. Darkness. And then, the human's face. That image began to fade. No, the human said sharply. Look at me. The child tried. The silence surged again, wild and broken. I won't let you forget, the human said. The elder stepped back. You cannot stop this, he said. Not even you. The judge smiled cruelly. Good. Let the power eat him. The human's eyes turned cold. He reached into his coat again. This time he pulled out something else. A worn metal tag. Human military. I have stopped worse than gods, he said. And I always pay the price myself. He pressed the tag into the child's hand. Hold on to this, he whispered. If you forget, this will remind you. The child gripped it tightly. The glow slowed. The silence steadied. The elder stared. This human, he whispered. He binds the silence. Alarms suddenly rang across the court. Ancient horns. Invasion alert, a guard shouted. The sky above the court darkened. Hundreds of shadows moved outside. The elder looked up in horror. The Dragon Empire has chosen, he said. The human stood, bleeding but unbroken. Then so have we, he replied. The mute dragon looked at the doors. The silence gathered again. Stronger, angrier. And this time, it was no longer afraid. When silence chose to fight. The horns outside the dragon court did not stop. They grew louder, deeper. Each sound hit like a warning to the soul. The sky above the court turned dark red. Huge shadows passed over the broken roof. Wings. Thousands of wings. The Dragon Empire had made its choice. War. Guards rushed to the walls. Flames ignited across towers. The judges shouted orders, panic leaking through their anger. The elder stood still. This court is no longer safe, he said. The human wiped blood from his mouth. His back burned where the blade had struck him, but he stayed standing. Then we leave, he said. The judge laughed. You will not take the silence bearer out of this court. The mute dragon felt the silence inside him react to those words. Anger stirred. Not loud, not wild, cold. The human placed a hand on the child's shoulder. Easy, he said softly. Don't let it control you. The child looked at him. Fear filled his eyes. I don't know how, he whispered inside his mind because no voice came out. The silence answered instead. The ground beneath them cracked. The elder's eyes widened. He's losing balance, he warned. Outside, the first attack came. A massive fire blast hit the court wall. Stone exploded inward. Smoke and flames filled the hall. Dragons screamed and roared as chaos broke loose. The judge shouted, "Kill the human. Secure the child." Guard charged. The human stepped forward, pulling the child behind him. "No," the elder roared. "Stand down." Too late. A guard swung a blade. The blade stopped midair. Frozen. The silence wrapped around it. The guard tried to pull back. His arms would not move. The mute dragon stared at his own hand. He had not raised it. The silence had moved on its own. No, the child thought. Stop. The blade shattered into dust. The guard fell back, shaking in terror. The human turned quickly. Look at me, he said. Focus on me. The child's chest rose and fell fast. I don't want to hurt them, he thought desperately. Another explosion shook the court. A hole opened in the ceiling. A massive dragon dropped inside, covered in war armor. The silence bearer, it roared. Hand him over. The roar hurt. It stabbed into the child's mind. The silence reacted violently. A shock wave burst outward. The armored dragon smashed into a wall. The entire court froze again. The human grabbed the child's face gently. Listen to me, he said firmly. This power listens to your feelings, not your thoughts. The child shook his head. I'm scared. I know, the human replied. So am I. The elder stared at the human. No dragon has ever guided silence like this, he said. The judge snarled. This is treason. He raised his claws, and flames gathered. The human moved. Fast. He threw a small metal sphere to the ground. It exploded, not with fire, but with smoke and light. Human tech. The judge screamed in rage. Get them, he roared. More armored dragons poured into the court. The elder turned to the human. There's an escape path, he said quickly. Old tunnels beneath the court. The human nodded. Lead us. They ran. Stone shook around them. Fire chased them. The mute dragon stumbled. The silence inside him surged again, trying to protect him. Walls cracked as they passed. The child gasped, pain twisting his face. It hurts, he thought. I know, the human said, hearing him somehow. Just hold on. They reached a massive door beneath the throne. The elder slammed his claw into ancient runes. The door began to open slowly. Too slowly. A roar shook the tunnel. The armored dragon from before rose again, bloodied but alive. Its eyes locked onto the child. There you are, it growled. It inhaled deeply. Fire gathered. The human pushed the child behind him. No, the elder shouted. He will not survive that. The child felt something snap inside him. Not anger, not fear, decision. He stepped forward. The human turned. Wait. The child raised his hand. The roar died. The fire vanished. The dragon's mouth stayed open, empty. The silence wrapped around the giant beast like chains. Slowly, carefully, the child closed his fist. The dragon collapsed, unconscious, not dead. The silence faded. The child fell to his knees. The human caught him. The elder stared in shock. He controlled it, he whispered. Without rage. Alarm screamed again. More enemies were coming. The door behind them opened fully. Dark tunnels stretched beyond. The human lifted the child into his arms. Time to go, he said. As they entered the tunnel, the judge's voice echoed behind them. You cannot run forever, he screamed. The Empire will hunt you. The human did not look back. Good, he said quietly. I'm tired of running. Deep in the tunnel, the child clutched the metal tag. The silence inside him rested, but watched. Waiting, because the war had just begun. The hunt of the Empire. The tunnels were old, older than the Dragon Court. Their walls were smooth, carved long before fire ruled the world. Dim crystals glowed softly, lighting the path ahead. The human ran with the mute dragon in his arms. Behind them, the sound of roaring echoed through the tunnels. The Empire was coming. Put him down, the elders said urgently. He must walk. If the silence breaks again, it may kill him. The human nodded and gently set the child down. The mute dragon's legs shook, but he stood. Each step hurt. Not his body, his mind. The silence inside him felt restless, like a storm held back by thin walls. They turned a corner. Suddenly, a blast of fire cut off the path behind them. The tunnel collapsed. Stone and dust filled the air. The elder stopped. His face darkened. They are sealing us in, he said. The human scanned the tunnel. There's another way, he said. There's always another way. The child looked up at him. How do you know? He asked silently. The human did not answer right away. They moved forward again. As they ran, the elder finally spoke. You are not just a father, the elder said. You are a soldier. The human's jaw tightened. Was, he replied. The elder shook his head. No, still. The child listened carefully. The silence inside him quieted, as if it wanted to hear. I fought in wars where entire worlds burned, the human said. I learned how to run when standing meant death. The elder looked at him with new respect. That is why the silence listens to you, the elder said. It follows those who endure. They reached a wide chamber. The ground was cracked. Ancient runes glowed faintly. The elder stopped suddenly. This place, he whispered. This is a sealed chamber. Before the human could speak, figures appeared from the shadows. Dragon knights. Silent. Armored. Elite. The judge stepped forward from behind them. You ran well, he said. But you were always meant to end here. The human stepped in front of the child. Stay behind me, he said. The judge smiled. You cannot protect him forever. The child felt the silence stir again. Anger tried to rise. He pushed it down. I won't let you hurt him, the human said. The judge laughed. We already have. He raised a claw. Images flooded the child's mind. Memories. Pain. Chains. Screams he never made. The child screamed inside. The silence reacted. Runes flared bright. The chamber shook violently. The elder shouted, Stop. This place will amplify him. Too late. The silence burst outward. Dragon knights were thrown back. Some collapsed, unable to breathe. The judge staggered. This power is unstable, he yelled. The human grabbed the child. Focus on me, he shouted. But the child was slipping. The silence was pulling more than power. It was pulling memories. Faces faded. Pain remained. The child looked at the human. Why do you look familiar? He asked silently. The human froze. Fear crossed his face. No, he whispered. Not this. The elder roared. The price is accelerating. The judge smiled weakly. Good. Let him forget. Let the silence consume him. The human made a choice. He turned to the elder. Break the seal, he said. The elder stared. That could kill you both. Do it, the human said. Now. The elder slammed his claws into the runes. The chamber cracked open. A pillar of black light rose. The silence screamed, without sound. The human stepped into the light with the child. The judge screamed in fury as the light swallowed them. When the light faded, the chamber was empty. The judge felt his knees. They escaped, he whispered. Far away, deep under the world, the human and the child fell onto cold stone. The silence settled. The child's breathing slowed. He looked up, at the human. Who are you? He asked silently. The human's heart broke. He forced a smile. I'm your dad, he said softly. The child blinked. I don't remember you. The silence watched. Satisfied, because now the final price would be paid. The choice that ended the silence. The world beneath the world was quiet. Cold stone. Dim light. No fire. No roar. The human sat on the ground, holding the mute dragon in his arms. The child was light. Too light. Like someone who had carried too much for too long. The silence rested around them. Not angry, not wild. Watching. The elder slowly stood up, his body shaking from the broken seal. "We are in the deep vault," he said. "This place was built to end gods." The human did not look around. He only looked at the child. The dragon's eyes were empty now. Not dark, just lost. "I'm your dad," the human said again, softly. "I promised I wouldn't leave." The child tilted his head. "Dad," he repeated silently, testing the word. The silence reacted. It tightened. The elder's face fell. "It remembers you," he said, "but only because you anchor it." Outside the vault, the world shook. The Empire had found them. Roars echoed through the stone. Ancient weapons struck the walls. Cracks spread like veins. "They will break through," the elder warned. "When they do, the silence will answer." The human understood. If the silence answered fully, the world would go quiet forever. The child felt the fear again. He clutched the metal tag in his hand. "What am I?" he asked silently. The human swallowed. "You're my son," he said, "and you're stronger than any empire." The child looked down. "I hurt people." "You stop them," the human replied. "There's a difference." The silence pulsed. The elder stepped back. "The choice is his," he said. "In the empire or in the silence." The child's head snapped up. "In me?" he asked. The elder nodded slowly. "The silence exists because you exist. If you let it go, it will take your power. Maybe your memories. Maybe your life." The human's breath broke. "No," he whispered. "There has to be another way." The walls cracked again. Light poured in from above. The judge's voice echoed through the vault. "Silence bearer. This ends now." The child stood. The silence rose with him. The human stood too, pain screaming through his wounds. "Listen to me," the human said. "Whatever you choose. I'm proud of you." The child turned. "You won't leave?" he asked silently. The human smiled. Even his tears fell. "Never." The silence waited. The child closed his eyes. For the first time in his life, he was not afraid of being quiet. He stepped forward. He opened his hand. The metal tag fell to the ground. "I don't want them to suffer," he thought. "I don't want to be a weapon." The silence trembled. "I choose to protect," the child decided. He reached inward, not for anger, not for pain, but for the memory of someone standing in front of him. The silence screamed, without sound, and then began to fade. The Empire's attack hit the vault. Fire rushed in, but it stopped. The silence wrapped around the world one last time, gently. Then it broke. Light exploded outward. Not destruction. Release. The child collapsed. The human caught him. Outside, across the Dragon Empire, flames went out. Roars died down. Weapons fell. The judges felt it. The elders felt it. The silence was gone. Forever. The vault crumbled, but the human shielded the child with his body. When the dust settled, only two figures remained. The elder knelt. "It's over," he whispered. The child slowly opened his eyes. The glow was gone. The silence was gone. He looked at the human. This time recognition was there. "Dad," he whispered, his first word. Sound. Real sound. The human laughed and cried at the same time. Above them, dragons gathered, not to attack, but to bow, because the Empire had not been defeated by power. It had been defeated by a child who chose mercy, and a human father who never bowed.